Good evening and welcome to the third episode about making a cyberpunk short film. I remain Augustin Sjöberg and tonight we'll talk about what makes a place qualify as truly disgusting. In the spirit of the theme of this episode, I have taken the trouble to relocate myself to a fittingly futuristic apartment. And yes, it might look like this backdrop here is not altogether real.
Ever wanted to live in a place that charges more for parking spots than parking tickets? Ever said to yourself, I would make a great tippy hedron from the birds while breaking up a dog fight in a library? Then come on down to Malmö, a wonder world of paradox. A train station where the trains don't run. A road construction site with no visible work going on. And streets instead of pipes for transporting that raw, just unfiltered raw sewage. Malmö, let's put a stop to the craziness right here.
I first got the idea to create something Blade Runnerian here in Malmö while providing craft services for a Netflix series.
Some days I had to get up at 4 in the morning or return home roughly around that hour. The studio was located on the other side of town.
Traversing that distance, encountering, I kid you not, no more than 4 people in this, the third biggest city in the country. Gliding by the silent towers in the harbor, the stretches of undeveloped wasteland, the glowing underpasses, laid desolate by night, I soon grew to love that side of Malmö, to love its industrial ugliness with a passion that longed for a purpose. Cyberpunk provided that purpose, and film the vehicle.
And boy did I film that vehicle. A not insignificant cybernetically enhanced chunk of what used to be me started this whole project because I felt I had to say,
wake up, people. Bethink yourselves. We're fixing to live in Night City. Isn't it great?
I made it a rule that whenever I felt the need to say that, I took a photo of the place that made me want to say it. And considering what city we're talking about here, I pretty quickly accumulated a secret government-run ethically challenged underground lab's worth of street images. And so, without a story even conceived, location scouting was underway.
It was around that time Pelle Jerkers, cinematographer on this project and the friend of mine who helped me land the Netflix job, got involved. What started out as an almost daily routine of sending photos back and forth soon erupted in actual nighttime excursions, predominantly down by the docks, the railway, and the HQ of the monopoly-like electric company that in southern Sweden enjoys the goodwill of a Skynet or Tyrell Corporation.
Location scouting is a good way to get to know the project together well in advance of shooting. And it's just about one of my favorite parts of filmmaking. Before becoming a filmmaker, I actually fancied myself something of an urban explorer, going so far as to buy a book and not break open a locked door located deep in a Cold War forest. So, first of all, you look for the places that express the same thing you want to express.
Meaning, wherever something resembled a neon sign, wherever a light came from down below, or wherever a building quantum leaped from the year 2049 was rubbing pipey shoulders with a Chernobyl shack, I put it on the list.
Expression is the first criteria, and from there on you narrow your list down to the top 3 contenders.
The second criteria is ease of use. What is the parking situation like? Is there a toilet nearby? How noisy is the street? Will civilians pester you by constantly going in and out of the building where they live their lives? Good, yes, not so, and no are the answers that will see the location move on to the final round.
Usually only one place makes it this far, and even though Malmö is an embarrassment of riches when it comes to places that tarnish the public image of the city, in the end I didn't have any hesitation in picking a winner.
It was a beautiful alleyway, located not far from our old apartment. Driving around in my craft van, I had several times stopped at the red lights outside the gates of that alleyway, and
one day I said to myself, why the hell don't I check it out? And I ventured past those squeaky gates. The alleyway was everything I had ever nightmared of.
I soon went back there with Pelle, and once we had scooped our jaws up from the festering gutter in which they had gadoinked, we began researching the place. It had already jumped the famously tall hoops of ample parking and orderly traffic conduct. First point of business, ask a resident.
As a filmmaker, you always want to have a good relationship with the locals, and a number to call in case something happens during the shoot.
According to Google Maps, the place was all auto shops and art associations. These were good signs, fine signs. Auto shops generally close around dusk, while artists, we hoped, wouldn't be totally against the idea of a midnight film shoot, perhaps even welcome us with open toilets or a heated common area in which to masticate our McDonald's. As luck would have it, Atelier XX were very cordial and graciously lent us their keys for the night. And once a blessing from their landlord was in store and a quick call was placed to the local constabulary, informing them about their use of toy guns on set and kindly advising them not to respond to any distress calls these props might birth, we were ready to punk some cyber. Or so I thought, because what happened then made my blood run cryo. 8 days before shooting was set to start, we met with a technician who had been so kind as to show us alternative power outlets around the place. You don't want your lights to pop any fuses. Right next to the alleyway we had chosen, he pulled up a massive metal door, pointed his flashlight into the dark and said, "What about here?" What about here? There definitely are blessed moments for a filmmaker when you feel like you've stumbled upon a cave of treasures. That was the biggest such moment of my life. In every direction you pointed a camera, there was cyber. And there was punk. Trembling, you ask your guide, "Can we use this place?" And not even pausing for dramatic effect, he goes, "Yeah." That's when you know that God is the Lord. And it went on from there. Turns out you could access the roof. Turns out the view was 360 degrees of awesome and 50 shades of great. What these last-minute discoveries did to our plans, our written storyboards, was of course to put them on steroids, inducing cyberpsychosis. To just at random happen upon those places felt like splitting the atom while trying to chop some wood. Or cancelling Amazon Prime and unlocking that secret please stay for free month, which you won't even use because you wanted to end the subscription in the first place, remember? Because many streaming platforms are really steaming platforms, get my drift? Anyway, sometimes you do feel blessed as a filmmaker. Not most of the time though. Most of the time you just feel bored. Even though we arguably got one of the best spots in the city to shoot our Cyberpunk film, Malmö still has a plethora of places up its sleeve if you're in the ugly game. Of course, just because you didn't end up shooting in those other scouted locations, you don't hit delete on those photos. You keep them, use them for reference when you start building your world. And of course, all references can't be sourced from Sweden alone. And Google Maps, however the honestly best thing about living in this present future, can only give you so much. If you want to understand a cyberpunk city, truly get to know it, then the last step you have to take for real.